The Greg Bird surgery went well, and whenever you come out of the anesthesia and you're alive, I guess you could say it went well. What they took out was a bone spur that was about the size of a coin, which, I mean, look down at your foot. If you had something hard the size of a coin floating around in your foot, it's going to cause a lot of pain. Ugh. So they took that out, and you might say, well, how long was it there? We don't know. Obviously, there was a bone spur on the bone, and as long as it stays on the bone, it's not a problem. But for some reason, it snapped off and then started to get into the inner workings of the ankle, and that made it pretty impossible for him to hit. It's his right foot. That's his landing foot. He was drifting back rather than moving forward. So the bottom line is they lose him for 6 to 8 weeks. And I was told by somebody in the know, it might not necessarily be that long. Now, most people who are comparing Greg Bird to Carl Pavano and Nick Johnson say it's going to be longer than 8 weeks. Hey, I don't know. The person I spoke to said it all comes down to when is the wound going to heal, which is what's happening right now with Vargas, with the Mets, because the hamate bone, once you take it out, the pain's gone, but you've got this big, fresh wound and stitches that has to heal. So I think once that heals, he'll be able to ride the bike, whether he does baseball activities right away. But the Yankees are set to go with Neil Walker and a combination of Neil Walker and Tyler Austin.
But the lesson has to be, and the Yankees have to sit down with Greg when he heals up and starts to play. Hey, you got to let us know. If you're feeling anything, we don't want to injury shame here. If you've got an injury, you come let us know, and we'll work on it, and we'll try to fix it before it becomes a problem. Don't try to gut it out. But that's what happens with professional athletes. They don't want to let you know. They hope it's just going to go away. It usually doesn't go away. Eventually, it rears its head to where now it's something could have been worked out. Now you need surgery, and you're out for a longer period of time. Hey, it happens in other sports. Shea Weber out for the year with the Montreal Canadiens just admitted today. He was in pain all year. Kevin Shattenkirk admitting he was in pain all year. Say something. I know it stinks. It probably stinks in training camp to walk over to Aaron Boone, your new manager, and say, listen, my foot's bothering me. But you know what? You got to at least have an organization that is not going to shame you with these injuries. The media and the fans you can't control. But these organizations have to let these players know. If anything is going on in your body, let us know about it. We're not going to shame you.
To defend Greg Bird a little bit, he had to sit back last year when the doctors couldn't find anything wrong with his foot. And I think Bill Madden wrote a story in the Daily News. An anonymous Yankee executive questioned whether or not...
See, but that's what I'm saying.
So you think this guy wants to stay in spring training? My foot hurts?
Well, that's why I'm kind of calling the Yankees out more than Greg Bird. But I'm also calling out Greg Bird. You still should tell the organization, but you can't shame these guys. But that's what happens. Players do it, too. They roll their eyes. Oh, Greg Bird's hurt again. You know, he's a China doll. You can't put him out there. But... he'll fight through it. He's young enough to be able to fight through it. But what ends up happening is you keep it to yourself. It becomes worse than it should have been.
Al Leiter's told me stories that when he played for the Yankees and he had the blisters and all of those issues, every time he walked into the trainer's room, he was deathly afraid of Billy Martin seeing him. Because Billy Martin would go, what were you doing in here? Because in the old days, rub some dirt on it and go play.